What's going on, everybody? It's Keegan here. I'm back with another video once again, and it's time for another vlog video. Only this time it's going to be a story time related vlog because I haven't done a story time vlog in a while. Anyways, today's story is actually going to be multiple stories because we're going to be talking about some of the best movie theater going experiences I've ever had. Ironically, I actually got back from the movies earlier before I recorded this video. I saw the movie Materialists and I thought it was pretty good. Anyways, I actually thought about doing a storytime vlog like this of me telling my best movie going experiences a couple months ago, but it just never happened for some reason. But the other day while I was at work, I was thinking about doing a video like this, and I decided to do a video like this sometime soon. And well, today we're going to be doing that video. We're going to be talking about some of the best movie theater going experiences I've ever had in no particular order. Well, it's pretty self-explanatory. We'll be talking about a few movies that I saw in theaters. This isn't really going to be like a review of these movies. We're just going to be talking about the experience itself. And yep, it's in no particular order. So with that out of the way, let's get started. So we're going to start with something very simple. We're going to start with when I saw Avatar in theaters. I saw this one back in 2009, a few days after Christmas. I was 8 years old at the time when I saw it. I saw it with my mom, my brother, and one of my best friends from when I was a kid. And I remember we saw it in 3D. We didn't see it in IMAX because the town we lived in at the time didn't have an IMAX theater at the time of when I saw it. So we just saw it in regular 3D. I remember being really blown away by the visuals and how cool the 3D effects looked at the time. It looked amazing seeing that movie in 3D in theaters with a big crowd of people, and just it totally blew my mind too. But keep in mind, I was 8 years old at the time. I was just a young, impressionable little boy who didn't really get into cinema until he turned into a teenager. I'm talking about me, of course. But it was an amazing experience, and while I wouldn't say Avatar is the greatest movie ever made. It is a pretty good movie, but it's no masterpiece. But back then, seeing it in theaters in 3D was just quite an unforgettable experience, and it was just like one of the best movie theater going experiences I've ever had in my life. I wasn't really sure how long the movie was at the time. It felt like it was like a 3-hour movie, but no, it was actually over 2.5 hours. But I enjoyed every minute of it seeing this movie in theaters. It was just quite an amazing experience. The next movie we're going to talk about my movie theater going experience with is Jackass Forever. Now, actually, I already talked about my experience seeing this movie in my review of the movie in a video I did a couple years ago, but I'll talk about it again in this video. Now, I saw this one not long after it came out back in 2022. I saw it with my brother and his two friends, so it was the four of us who saw it, and it was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun seeing this one in theaters, and oh my god, I couldn't stop laughing. I was laughing till I was feeling a little sore, and oh man, it was just, you can't go wrong seeing Jackass or either the show or the movies. Like, you can't go wrong with them. Like, they're just so entertaining. The amount of dangerous stuff that Johnny Knoxville and company do to themselves, and seeing it on the big screen is amazing too. Like, you laugh along with the crowd and you cringe at some of the disgusting parts too. But it's just, who doesn't like seeing Jackass movies in theaters? Because seeing this one in theaters with my brother and his two friends was just one of the best experiences I've ever had. If I remember correctly, the part that made me laugh the most was probably the Silence of the Lambs segment where they they're put in a dark room with all the lights turned out, and there's like some dangerous animals, like there was like a rattlesnake or something, and they're all getting bitten and stuff. It's been a while. I haven't seen the movie since I saw it in theaters, but I remember that part of the movie made me laugh so hard I thought I was gonna die laughing. Oh man, just such a fun time seeing this one in the theater. Well, in general, you can't go wrong with Jackass. No matter how many times I've watched any of the movies, they always crack me up. They're just so much fun to watch, especially seeing it on a big screen with a big crowd of people. This next one is one of my favorite memories of going to the movies, and that was when I saw The Room. Now, obviously, I didn't see this one when it initially came out to theaters. I saw it re released at one of my favorite theaters to go to because they screen the movie all the time. Now, I only seen the movie once, and this was back in 2023, but I remember this night quite well. It was my first time ever seeing this movie. I mean, even if you haven't seen this movie, you might know some of the clips or some of the lines, like, "You're tearing me apart, Lisa." But anyways, when I saw the movie, like before the movie started, one of the employees at this theater I went to see it told everybody to not say anything racist or anything like that. Like if you're shouting out something during the movie, because this is one of those movies where you're actually allowed to speak and yell and say random stuff during the movie and throw plastic force around too. But if you know the stuff about this movie and the cult status behind it, then you'll understand. But I remember once the movie started, like once the opening logo started, everybody was cheering, and during the credits, Tommy Wiseau's name popped up and Greg Sestro's name popped up. Everyone was clapping. And when it got to the name of the actress who played Lisa, I forgot her name, but everyone was like, "Boo!" And I'm like, at first I was getting annoyed. I'm like, "Oh, come on, please stop talking." Like, I thought people weren't supposed to talk during the movie, but then it took me like 5 minutes to realize this is part of the whole ordeal when seeing this movie in theaters. And like during the sex scenes, people were singing along to the songs that were playing during those scenes. And then after one of the this was like early in the movie when when Johnny, the main character, gets out of bed, like he's naked, and everyone's chanting, "Show us that ass! Show us that ass!" And I was like laughing, and I was like dying of laughter. And when you finally see his buns, everyone was cheering, and I'm like, oh my god, like this was like one of the best experiences seeing this movie in the theater. Just and from that point on, this would go on to being one of the best movie going experiences I've ever had in my life. While I haven't seen the movie since then, I would love to see it again in the theater one of these days. Although the only thing is, they do it really late in the night, like around midnight, and I'm not really that kind of person who goes to the movies really late into the night, like at midnight screenings. But when I saw it, this was like at a 9:30 screening, so that was like a good time for me to go see it. But I'll definitely see it again if it's screened at a 9:30 screening, because seeing this movie in the theaters is like the true way to see this movie. Say what you will about Atomic Blonde, I personally really like this movie. It's one of my favorites. It's got some great action, some great cinematography. It's got some great visuals, and Charlize Theron is really great in the film. And not to mention, it's got a killer soundtrack too. And I remember seeing this movie in theaters really, really well. And it's probably I best know this movie for being the very first movie I saw in theaters all by myself. Now, truth be told, I go to the movies by myself 99.9% of the time I go to the movies. And this was the very first movie I saw in theaters all by myself. And to be honest, I never really understood the stigma people get of going to the movies by themselves. Like, what's the big deal? People can go to the movies by themselves if they want to, just as much as they can go to a restaurant by themselves. I don't think people should be judged for that. Get out of here with that stuff. I mean, there shouldn't be any judgment for people who like to go to the movies by themselves. Like, I mean, I go to the movies by myself all the time. And this was the first movie I saw in theaters by myself. And anyways, I remember seeing it on a late Wednesday evening in August of 2017. I was 16 at the time. I remember my mom dropped me off at the theater because at the time when I saw this movie, I didn't have my driver's license, nor did I have a car. I didn't get my license until I was 21. And it wasn't very busy when I saw it. It was at a pretty small theater, and there was only like a couple people in the theater when I saw it. If I remember correctly, there was only like four, maybe five people when I saw this movie in theaters. I don't exactly remember, but it wasn't very busy. Probably because it was in the middle of the week and summer was near its end. I remember being blown away by the cinematography, the visuals, the soundtrack, and all the action sequences. I remember being blown away by this movie. And every time I hear the song Cat People by David Bowie, the first thing that comes to mind is either this movie or Inglourious Bastards, but that's a different story. And this would be the first time I would ever see a movie in theaters by myself. And from that point on, whenever I go to the movies, I basically only go to the movies by myself 99.9% of the time. Although, every so often I see a movie in theaters with either a family member or friends, but most of the time I see movies by myself in theaters. And I don't see anything wrong with that. People shouldn't have to feel bad for seeing a movie by themselves in theaters. Like, there's nothing wrong with that at all. Alright, the last story is actually a movie I recently revisited a couple weeks ago, The Shape of Water. It's an amazing movie, and it's currently my favorite Del Toro movie that I've seen at the time of me making this video. As I was rewatching the movie, I remember thinking about the time I saw in theaters back in late 2017. When I saw this movie in theaters, it was actually the last movie I saw in theaters back in 2017. And at the time, I was 16 years old. At that point in my life, I was really getting into cinema more and more, basically slowly becoming the cinephile that I am today. But back then, I was slowly getting into cinema more and more. I remember being blown away by the music, the set designs, the performances. Like, I mean, everybody in this movie was great, especially Sally Hawkins, who played a mute woman in this film. And it just, wow, it just, seeing this movie in theaters was just an experience I never forget. And when the theme song started to play, it just gave me goosebumps. Like, the music in this movie is just fantastic, and it's one of the few times where I wish I could relive an experience seeing a movie in theaters for the first time, and this would definitely be high on that list. Just an amazing experience overall. In general, The Shape of Water is an amazing movie and one of Guillermo del Toro's best movies. And I was actually surprised this movie actually won Best Picture when it won Best Picture at the Oscars back in 2018, and I think it deserved winning Best Picture. But regardless of what you think of the film, I think this movie is one of Del Toro's best movies, and seeing it in theaters was like one of the best movie going experiences I've ever had. And as I mentioned before, one of the few times where I wish I could relive an experience seeing a movie in theaters all over again. Well, that's all of the movie theater experiences. Well, the most memorable movie theater going experiences I can think of for this video. I will definitely make a second video in the future. But thank you guys so much for watching. As always, if you enjoyed the video, feel free to leave a like, comment below, and subscribe. And stay tuned for more videos that'll be coming out soon. But in the meantime, thanks again for watching. Hope you all have a great day. And I'll see you guys later. Have a good one, everybody. Peace. Bye-bye.